I was adopted in '69. That was the last year that kids were being taken away from their families, from the reservations.
My name is Nathaniel, and this is the Motorcycle Archives. Episode 5, Neil Zarama.
I can't believe I'm actually building for Born Free. It's kind of dope. I'm not a fabricator. I fabricate jewelry. That's what I'm gonna do with my bike.
When you said it's like super native, I think that's what initially attracted me to your motorcycles in general, because I don't really see a ton of that represented, and I think it's really important.
There are native dudes riding bikes, but 99% of the time they're not riding an old bike. There's nothing like it, and I know everyone says the same thing, but when you get on your own bike that you like put all of it together yourself and like did all your little things to it, and you kind of know every little heartbeat of it, and why won't it start? You kind of know why it won't start. Or if you're riding somewhere and it takes a complete shit, you're just like, I know exactly what's wrong.
And not in the sense of like you're gonna go to war,
right?
Like you're a warrior for this philosophy of how you live your life, being a craftsman, riding some old bikes. Some people would argue, just get a fuel injected one, that's more reliable. It's only gonna continue if people like you continue it.
The latest venture was I worked in Silicon Valley. I remember Sundays were the worst days, man. I would get up and just have knots in my stomach.
So you could kind of say that like that part of your work was sucking some of your soul away, like as you said it.
No, it's sucking all of it.
All of it away, but
terrible.
You were coming back home and this was kind of replenishing it a little bit.
Yeah, I had some health issues. I was going through, not cancer, but I was having to still do chemo, and during a Zoom call, something went down and I was like, hey, you know what, guys? I quit. And they, like the whole meeting just, what?
Yeah.
I quit, and I literally unplugged, and my wife was like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, I quit. And she's like, well, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I'm gonna make jewelry. And dude, it was like, literally I went downstairs and I made a couple rings. I buy this stuff, dude. This is silver from,
this isn't me. I'm just gonna show
some of it's from the 1800s. I identify Apache, I'm Apache blood, and I'm able to like actually purchase old colonial silver and melt it. Oh man, it makes people flip out. I can't believe that you're doing that. It's so disrespectful. I'm like, dude, I'm making jewelry out of silver that I was able to purchase myself. It makes me like, yes. I was adopted in '69. That was the last year that kids were being taken away from their families, from the reservations, and they were sent out to different boarding schools. So I wasn't a part of that, but I was sort of in the weird situation where I was born in a home for widowed mothers, and it was a Catholic home, but there was something definitely in me with this Apache thing where even though they didn't raise me, to be connected to that in any way, shape, or form, it's a privilege for me. And there's only way I can express it is through bikes and all that, which is not conventional, but just putting my twist, my art, whatever, my soul into it. Most people in the US don't even know the history behind what had happened to Native people. They don't think Native people exist anymore. Language was taken, symbols were taken, traditions were taken, kids were taken, everything stripped away. So I'm kind of bringing it back. Whirling logs are all over my pieces, all over my bikes, and a lot of people don't understand it, but it's a good way to open conversations up. On Instagram, I had this issue where whirling logs were getting flagged. I mean, it was like, if you have one more, we're taking your accounts away. I started self-censoring. There's a hypocrisy with the whirling log and Christian crosses. You have people like the KKK they burn crosses, they're racist. Right. How come no one's
crosses don't get...
they're not getting shadowed. So that's always my topic of like discussion, opening up for people that go, well, you can't, that's a terrible symbol because it represents hate and this and that. And like, well, crosses represent that exact thing to my culture and what it did, you know, manifest destiny, all that. The family that adopted me, they're Colombian, and everybody there rides scooters and stuff. And by the time I was 11, we were like literally taking all the motors apart and honing them and putting like jet fuel mixed. I mean, I think at 11, 12, we were kind of doing chopper shit. I mean, as a kid, that was more about being crazy and doing wheelies, and, you know, by 13, you're like, chicks, you know, right. Chicks like bikes, because, you know, realistically, that's how it all happened. You're like, you're on your bike, she wants to ride. And in Colombia, it was like all about that. We call them gasolineras, which is a kind of a derogatory thing. Like hoes that love motorcycles. And we were all little kids, but I was learning all this stuff. But then from then, I moved back to the US in '85. went to high school in the Central Valley. Right before graduating, I was taking a shop class in Turlock High School, and I built my first chopper.
Because this is from your dad. It's a quote from him that you wrote. It says, "Never forget where you come from, and always keep your ancestors alive
You're
within
making me cry, dude."
He was an unconventional bohemian trapped in a working class world, the OG Colombian beatnik poet.
Yeah.
And I just think that's so beautiful,
dude.
bro.
I'm literally, I think
it's beautiful,
yeah,
man.
he's dope. Yeah. So he was the dude that raised me. He's like the only dad I had. He chain smoked and he was always on his typewriter, and he instilled like this work smarter, not harder. I know those are cliches, but he was always like, you know, saying those kind of things like, "Mijo, you have to be smart about how you work. Don't just work hard. You have to have a plan and this and that." And we were never rich or anything, but it's like rich culturally, yes. What's up?
Hey.
Come on in, man.
Brought the shine.
How are you, man?
Good, good. I refrigerator.
This is Joe.
What's up, Joe? How you doing? I'm Nate.
Guess what I'm gonna do?
Have a sip.
Oh, dang, there we
I
go.
tasted it.
It's so good.
I gave Agnes a taste too. She loved it.
What's the flavor like?
Cinnamon apple.
Ooh, nice. Gracias.
There's how many people in the world are writing these things? The rad thing about it is that no matter where you break down, no matter where you are and you find yourself in trouble with the bike, you can always do a little smoke signal and people will come out of the woodwork to help you. It's amazing.
I found this bike up the street, actually. It's an old Bay Area bike. It's 48. Panhead, it's fun to ride. It's fast. Jeff really did a good job with his motor, man. It's got some power. It's 10 over on the front. It's got more of a Frisco chopper vibe, which is the style of bikes that I like to ride. Although I'm in love with my blue bike too. When you build bikes and letting them go, I'm gonna have to let go of something once the board-free bike is done. We'll figure out which one is gonna.
I'll give you a call.
I don't know which one's gonna go.
Making jewelry, riding a chopper, tinkering with motorcycles, doing things with your hands, it's nothing like it.
That's a heavy. Ah, it's hot as shit. Ah.
Through jewelry and choppers and this whole kind of like being at home and being able to hang out with my kid, and I don't know, man. I don't wake up ever feeling stressed. I still have my, you know, health issues and some, you know, mental health issues, you know, that we all kind of go through, but yeah, I wouldn't change it, man. This is rad. And I'm 54 now, so it's like being home with the kid or just doing what I love means more than anything. Money-wise, I don't even care.